Christian churches across the globe were once in agreement that the Ten Commandments, each one of them, were binding. This was proclaimed in their sermons and found in their writings. They taught it to their children and embraced it at church. This was until the question of the Sabbath was brought to their attention. If the Ten Commandments are still binding, then the seventh day is the Sabbath and should be remembered. It really is as simple as that. But this concept has agitated many, leading them to give up their position of the Decalogue entirely and advocating the unthinkable, the abolishment of all 10 commandments. To accomplish this idea, the ceremonial and moral law were jumbled together as being one law nailed to the cross. Who will deny the existence of two laws when the distinction is so plain? Moral law existed before the fall. Ceremonial law given after the fall. Moral law was violated, which caused the fall. Ceremonial law was given in consequence of the fall. Moral law relates only to moral duties. Ceremonial law points to the promised seed. Moral law, God himself spoke it from heaven with his own voice. Ceremonial law, Moses spoke this law to the people. Moral law, God wrote it twice with his own finger. Ceremonial law, Moses wrote it out with his own hand. Moral law, engraved it upon stone. Ceremonial, written on parchment. Moral law, placed in the ark. Ceremonial law was put not into the ark, but on the side. Moral law, whosoever therefore shall break one of the least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called least in the kingdom of heaven. Ceremonial law, the apostles said, we gave no such commandment that you should keep the law. Moral law contains the whole duty of man. Ceremonial law stood only in meats and drinks and diverse washings and carnal ordinances. Moral law, referred to as the royal law. Ceremonial law, the law of Moses. The whole Bible would be a mumble-jumbled mess of contradictions if one could not make this clear distinction between the two laws. Every single passage which speaks of a law being canceled undoubtedly is referring to the law of Moses, the law that related to the priesthood, sacrifices, circumcision, food and drink offerings, which are a shadow of things to come. But the body is of Christ. These were the only laws that were abolished. Reason, nor scripture, supports the idea of the moral precepts being done away with. The ceremonial system was made up of symbols pointing to Christ. It is this law that Christ took out of the way, nailing it to his cross. These regulations that stood opposed to us were the laws that were a witness against you. Peter called it a yoke that neither our fathers nor we were able to bear. However, the moral law is spoken of as perfect and enduring.